In today's coverage of the heroic Anthem Kingdom versus Kingdom format, we're going to be talking all about support skills, where you can literally take two skills from other commanders and put them onto a commander of your choice. In this guide, we're going to talk about exactly how support skills work, how you unlock them from bastions, and we're going to take a look at the ones that are in Lost Kingdom 502 right now at the time of this recording, and point out just how insane some of these combinations might be. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming. Today, we're going to be reviewing in depth how the support skills work in the heroic Anthem Kingdom versus Kingdom. And anytime you bring a new march out onto the field, you've got the opportunity to select two different skills to put onto that march. Now, I love the diversity that this brings to your commanders and their capabilities, and there's so much to think about how you can optimize and min-max, but how do you unlock these support skills in the first place? Because look, right now, I've got none. The support skills come from bastions. Bastions are a new building in the heroic Anthem Kingdom versus Kingdom format. If you tap the Explore view, you can see, hey, check it out, here's a bastion right near where I am. The commander at the bastion will present to you different quests. Completing those quests will gain favor, and when you gain enough favor, you gain the new skill. The skill that you gain, that you can then deploy to other commanders, will be exactly the same skill level as it is on the commander you're helping at the bastion. So, this skill right here is the fourth skill on Sepia. When that skill is maxed out, it gives 10% more troop capacity. At my current skill level on this account, I don't have the commander unlocked, which means this actually wouldn't be available to me at all. However, right now it's showing 2% elevated troop capacity. Now, as I mentioned, you do different quests to complete favor. There are lots of different types of quests, and we'll show you a few of those in just a moment. Here you can see a brief explanation of how this works, and I just want to highlight to you, level 6 is the point at which you unlock the new skill, which you can start to deploy to your commanders. Now, there is a limit to the number of quests you can do in any given day to gain favor. That number is 15. And once you take a quest, you have 15 hours to complete it, and there's no other way to get rid of it. So if you take a quest that's not actually accomplishable for you, you're stuck with it for 15 hours until you can do a different one. The other thing that's required in order to interact with these bastions at all is that you have to build territory connecting to them. Your coalition, which is the combination of multiple alliances potentially, need to build flags up to that structure. Multiple alliances or coalitions can be built next to it, but you need to be touching the structure with a flag or fort in order to be able to interact with this bastion and start taking quests. Now, these bastions are scattered all throughout the map, and there are many of them. When I switch over to the Explore view again, you can see that there were a number in the starting zone. Each one of these has a different commander stationed at it. However, there is symmetry across the map, across all of the starting zones, so you don't have to worry about one side having access to a commander that you don't have access to. Generally, that is generally true. In fact, if we jump back to the Bastions menu here, we have a map showing every single bastion we've uncovered from the map, and you can see that these commanders show up multiple times. So, for instance, Herman is in our starting zone in the upper left, and they're also in all of the starting zones. The next commander, Baibars, we've only found him in our starting zone so far, but I bet you he's in all of them, and so on. It is interesting that all 6 of the commanders in our starting zone are epic. There are no legendary commanders in our starting zone, and I think it's important to mention that when we talk about how the flow of obtaining these skills is going to work, you can see here the daily quest limit up top is listed at that 15 quests per day. And also, you're getting a whole bunch of crystals for completing them, which is going to be very important for other things you do in the heroic Anthem KvK and some of the rewards you get. So doing these quests to gain favor is going to be important. Having flags built in a way that makes sense so that many alliances can access these structures makes a lot of sense, because you're going to want to get a lot of these skills made available to you. There are also some interesting implications for how combat will go at different stages of the KvK, and what is meta, or the most efficient tactic available in one part of the KvK, might change based on some of these skills that become available, which I think as a concept is all very, very exciting, very dynamic, and can be a lot of fun. So the other commanders in our starting zone, by the way, are Sun Tzu, Scipio, and Joan of Arc. Those should be in all the starting zones. They also happen to be in some of the middle zones, so there are more ways to actually gain physical access to some of these spots in order to interact with commanders to give lots of different folks an opportunity to go and gain favor with them. Looking to other zones in the KvK, I want to jump ahead here to Caesar. Caesar is the first legendary for whom you can gain access to a skill, and his skill is really, really good. El Cid is another one that you can gain access to, and when we look at where this actually is on the map over here, where I've got my pointer, what I want to call your attention to is the fact that I think there'll be a contentious battle here, and it might be a couple days, but it seems highly unlikely to me that right out of the gates, perhaps someone will unlock the new special skill in order to apply to other commanders while also battling in the zone. So I think that the legendary commander skills probably will only become available after this zone is settled and when the new zone contest is about to begin. That's when I think people will actually start to unlock those. Now, there are some really remarkable skills that are available. I'll point out that a little bit more of the flow of this includes Ethelfled in one of these early contestable zones, as well as Esong, which I was very surprised to see. There is Constantine in the later zone before Kingsland, also Khan and Tamaris. There's also Akira floating around in one of those final zones before Kingsland, and we'll point out why her skills are interesting right now, in fact. We're going to switch over to the support skills and review all of the support skills available in this version of Heroic Anthem. It's my understanding that these rotate out. It says every time a story begins in point number 7, bastion, commanders, and support skills will be completely different. So a story begins, I think, is your Heroic Anthem story or your KvK story. So every time you enter into this KvK, it could be different, which means when we go into this KvK in Kingdom 75, that is my home kingdom, this may look very different than the account I'm on right now, which is here purely for the sake of peeking in and seeing what's going on. I powered this account to City Hall 25 in less than 5 hours. I think I got a world record for that. There's a live stream for that if you want to check it out. It was really crazy. I've never used so many building speedups or universals on building speedups in such a short period of time before. By the way, I do also want to call your attention to rule number 6 over here. Each support skill can be equipped by only one troop at a time. So it looks like you're not going to be able to have these skills on lots of different commanders or every single march you bring out into the field. In fact, there's only 6 support skills available, assuming you could even unlock all of them before the first zone opens up for combat, which means you've got at least 2 full marches that have no skills deployed whatsoever. So the skills that are available in this version of Heroic Anthem includes Esong's second skill, generating a massive 100 rage and 100% archer attack for 3 seconds. This skill is so good. Like, just the rage gen on this skill is good, but the archer attack is also great. We've got the third skill of Sun Tzu Master Strategist. This makes it so you have 10% less damage taken and 10% more infantry health. Scipio's fourth skill, granting 10% more troop capacity, a good skill for the open field. We've got Joan of Arc's 10% chance to heal, 450 healing factor. I think this skill is terrible compared to Pelagius's fourth skill, which does the same proc chance, but twice as much healing over 2 seconds. Like, it's not even the same universe. Boudicca's third skill, which gives 50 rage when you use an active skill, and also a healing factor. And you can see here that this is leveled 3, because on this account, that is the level of that skill for my Boudicca. Continuing on, the second skill of Divine Julius, that's Julius Caesar's skill, is really quite exceptional at reducing damage taken and making a rally more tanky. The fourth skill of El Cid is completely gangbuster. I can't believe they've done this. 25% more damage when you're below 50% is insane for rallies and garrisons. Also, the fourth skill of Herman is looking really good. 10% more normal attack damage and a 10% chance to gain 100 rage. Oh my goodness. That's like Esong's second skill, except there's no archer requirement here. And yeah, okay, you don't get a bunch of attack, but you get all the time normal attack damage. This is very good. There's the skill from Bybars that is relevant for hitting cities. I think this is really not all that compelling. There is the garrison skill on Constantine, which, by the way, really great anti-Attila Takeda counter. Also, you've got a skill from Khan that requires you to have all cavalry. The upside, though, 30% more skill damage and 25 extra rage when attacked if you're below 50%. Hello, combo over here. Both of these skills when you're below 50%, just saying. Continuing on, Fortress of Mercia. This is such a fascinating one. This is the Ethelfled skill that gives you more rally capacity. Rally capacity is insane. You're saying I can take that amazing skill from Ethel and put it anywhere I want? And moreover, by the way, just the 10% capacity might be worth it, but you're saying I also, if I bring mixed troops, can get 20% increased attack? I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know that that's going to bring mixed rallies into the meta, but you could rally with like Chandra and another secondary that doesn't require all cavalry and do some really interesting stuff. Chandra Mehmed, I don't know. Next one is Tamaris' Payback ability. You gain 30% attack when hitting cities, but lose 10% counterattack damage. I don't love that. Don't love that. And last but not least, the Soroli Kira skill. That is 10% attack, 10% defense. Easy to understand that one. 20% of stats. Very straightforward. Now, what does all of this mean for how the KvK is going to unfold? I mentioned that some of these are just not going to be available in the beginning, and only further and further in will these become available, but there are some really big implications for KvK. First of all, I want to talk about the fact that, in general, leading up to this point, if you had really amazing gear, you were a top-tier T5 player, lots of commanders, you could actually garrison multiple structures and rally at the same time. But in this new view of the world, there really is like a best set of extra skills you could use, and so you kind of only want to be in one rally or garrison at a time because someone else could just roll up with the additional skills and roll over you because you're missing extra skills, literally 2 of them, and that seems really impactful. So this actually requires more people to be involved in rallying and garrisoning, which I think is a good thing overall, even though it's very counterintuitive compared to the way the rest of the game has been played up to this point. Now, in terms of the very best rally and garrison skills, I think there's going to be some obvious choices for this insane meta we're in now, where Zenobia as a garrison commander is incredible. I do think that Master Strategist for infantry is an easy choice. She's already got ridiculous amounts of health, and giving her more seems truly outrageous to me. I also kind of like Divine Julius, reducing the damage you take, or going the other route and saying, okay, I'm going to dish out more damage to you, seems really powerful to me. In terms of rally combos, I am loving Divine Julius for the tankiness of the rally. You want a rally that can't be swarmed? Look no further than an Attila Takeda rally with Divine Julius, and then, heck, add on National Hero, and that is very, very powerful, generating rage, normal attack damage, and adding to your tankiness. Seems really strong to me. Now, if you think that Attila Takeda are going to be the meta, of course, you could go the garrison route of using Impasse, which reduces that damage from cavalry. Pretty solid pick there. If we think that archer rallies will become a thing to counter Zenobia, then look no further than Art of Archery combined with National Hero, or also, I really like the Unyielding skill, 25% of damage, or last but not least, like, look, it could just be that like every rally with Divine Julius is just better for the amount of anti-swarm that you get there. Now, there are implications for things beyond garrisons and rallies, by the way. Take a look at this. 10% more capacity on the field. This is kind of a big deal. When we talk about the maximum march size in this version of KvK, it's actually a little bit out of control if you have max research available as well. So if you use a 50% expansion, you would go from 200,000 troops that you could bring base to 300,000 troops. If we add in VIP, that's another 10,000 theoretical max. That's 310,000 troops. If you add in something like this skill, That's another 20,000 troops. So we're up to 330,000 troops. And then here's where things get really nutty. There is crystal research, and I know that's not the topic of this video. However, there is crystal research that lets you take, let's see here, I believe, oh yes, here it is, 40% more troops. And there's another one for 10% more troops. So we're talking about 50% more troops, another 100,000, so 430,000 troops. Plus, if you use a commander that's got extra capacity to begin with, see where this is going? Like Julius Caesar or Freddy or even Scipio. Like, you're looking at over 450,000 troops in a single march. Let me tell you, there's pros and cons to that. If that march gets caught out of position, oh, you've got a big hospital bill, let me tell you. But I am pretty excited for how that might all unfold. In terms of other skills that I think are going to be really good in this KvK for the open field, there are actually a number. I am pretty psyched in general to just like drop this onto almost any commander, generate rage, and do healing seems really good. I also really like National Hero for that reason. You'll get desperate at some point, and I suppose one of the last skills you'll deploy if you've managed to unlock it using your limited 15 quests a day will be Holy Refuge. I think that's really solid in the open field. If you're using archers, then obviously the Soroli Sharpshooter is going to be good. And if you're bringing an all-cav march onto the field, you could use Military Lifestyle, but I actually think this is kind of a low priority upgrade for me because, you know, look, when you get below 50%, shouldn't you be going back to town anyways? So this seems really good for rallies if calves are a thing and it's skill damage cavalry that are the thing. Otherwise, it actually might be totally irrelevant. It's funny to mention. All in all, I am looking forward to the support skill system. And it's worth mentioning that only a small number of these are actually legendary commander skills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll count Ethelfled as 6, I guess. 7. Right? Like, half of them are legendary, half of them are epic. That seems fairly reasonable to me. If I were the developer in this instance, I would use these skills to shape a more balanced metagame in Rise of Kingdoms based on whatever we think is going to be maybe too powerful at this time in the game or maybe too weak in the game and we want to elevate its performance. That would be my personal approach to this. But once the rallies begin, we'll be able to show you exactly how it's unfolding and how well they are or aren't working. Today, the Crusader camps opened up, which enabled folks to get some additional gathering speed. That was pretty cool to see. Most of these have been captured. There are some that are still open in this kingdom. And if the Crusader Fort opens up at a time that's convenient for everyone, then we're going to live stream that and cover it. You're not going to want to miss it because let me tell you, what the Crusader Fort does is going to be really interesting for this KvK. If you can have theoretical marches over 400,000 troops, I mean, do we need bigger hospital capacity? I suppose we'll find out soon enough. All the good stuff that you need to know when we rebuild the Crusader Fort in past glory. And if you want to see that, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. And consider throwing a like on this video if you enjoyed our going through and reviewing the support skills in this very first run of the heroic anthem, Kingdom vs. Kingdom. I'll have a card up in the top for a full playlist of our coverage of how this KvK works, so you can go and check out more videos that might help you out and win some battles in the heroic anthem. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.